the grief journey, it's the most difficult time many of us will ever face in a lifetime. And it takes you by surprise. Nobody can prepare you for it. So I'm Emily, the author of How to Survive the Dark Night of the Soul. This book is available on Amazon and it is about my journey and what I learned by going into the darkness and experiencing a dark night of the soul, which is when you kind of lose faith in the universe and existence, and how I came back again to the light. And it's a kind of a manual on how to do that. So some of it's about my experience, and some of it is about how anybody could follow that same path and find a purpose in life again, find a reason to be here. 4 years ago, I lost somebody who was very special and important to me. And I've learned a lot along the way. So I wanted to make this video not just about the dark night of the soul, but about loss and grief specifically. For anybody out there who is trying to find a way to survive moment to moment, day to day, because I've been there. So I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. Maybe it will help you. In that time, I did feel like I completely lost faith in the universe. What does that mean? I was spiritual up until that moment, until that point in my life. I thought I had things figured out. I thought I knew how to manifest my life through positive thinking and all that. And I learned in the blink of an eye that no matter how far along in the spiritual path you are, the whole world can come crashing down. And you have to find a reason to keep faith. You have to find a connection with the divine realm that doesn't depend on anything physical in your life. You can lose things along the way. Everything in this physical existence is temporary. It all has an expiration date. You, in this role you're playing on planet Earth right now, also have an expiration date. So one of the first things I realized, even though I was in an extreme state of grief, was that life is so short and precious. And when you can focus on something positive like that, like how lucky we are to even be alive right now, the gratitude of it, you begin to shift your energy. If you can do that as often as possible, it'll be good. But when you experience a great loss, nobody can expect you to just gather yourself up, uh, get yourself together, and move on with life. Some people are going to try to suggest that to you. They don't get it. So, one of the things I experienced was that people downplayed the importance of this event in my life. They acted like my relationship with this person was not a big deal. Why am I in so much grief? Or they said nothing. People very close to me in my life, including my own family, sometimes didn't didn't even ask me how I was doing, didn't check on me. And I've had many clients since this happened to me tell me the same thing is happening to them. Why does this happen? Because people experience grief in so many different ways. And also, if they haven't experienced this level of grief, they have no idea what you're going through. So you have to learn to forgive. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but I recommend it because staying angry, as I did for a very long time, doesn't help. I used to have kind of addictive thoughts about how angry I was at the people who didn't acknowledge my relationship with this person and didn't want to explore what I was going through. I didn't want to be a source of support, didn't want to grieve with me. I used to have these circular thoughts about how angry I was at them, how I wanted to show them and prove them wrong. Um, and that dissipated over time. I became aware that this was eating me alive, it was eating me away from the inside, and I needed to change something. So, focusing on releasing anger is going to be big on your grief journey. So, after this event in my life, I was thrust into this very dark time, as you might imagine. And it's interesting, just today, I was going through some old books and notebooks, and I came across this grief journal that one family member who did very much support me when this happened to me, she gave it to me because her father had passed and someone gave it to her at that time. And I read for the first time in 4 years today what I wrote in that journal to myself to remember and to focus on. None of it was really a surprise, but the first thing I wrote in the whole notebook was to never forget the joy this person brought me and the hope that they brought my daughter and I, and never to let myself get distracted from that. So even then, I was pretty lucid. I knew that I couldn't let the light within me flicker out. I couldn't completely lose hope. I had to remember that all of this happened for a reason. I even wrote that in that notebook as well. All of this somehow happened for a reason. And over the last 4 years, I've learned more and more about the reason, the purpose in the universe of these tragedies happening. And sometimes it's very hard to grasp how the universe can be so cruel. And your relationship with the universe is your own to figure out. This is part of the dark night of the soul. But there is a way to ask for the reason to be revealed to you, to trust that there must be some reason, and also for you to go on. So one of the last things I want to say is that you're going to have a lot of hard feelings. I mean, obviously, but one of the things you might say is that you don't want to be here anymore because it seems pointless. It's like we're here to experience physical life, and the more stuff we accumulate, the more relationships we build, the more success we seem to have. It just increases the chance of a loss happening again. And it seems pointless, doesn't it? But you have to keep going. You have to find out through this experience that all you had to do was release the attachment to all of these things, and then you wouldn't live in that fear. But again, this is very complex. It's a very hard way to learn that lesson, but maybe the only way. And you're gonna have really dark feelings, dark thoughts about your existence, and you must figure out why you're still here. There's a reason. And we as souls came here on purpose. Perhaps the purpose was to experience this kind of thing because grief reveals to us the depths of love. And if you never experienced this, you wouldn't know how much you love this person. And there is a beauty in that. Hopefully you can forgive the universe for this seeming cruelty and find the silver lining in your soul journey, because the soul has a journey that transcends this lifetime and many other lifetimes. This is just one segment of it. And you'll be back here again. You'll get to see this person again. They didn't go anywhere. You'll be able to have all the answers you want someday when you're no longer in this physical form. So I hope that this helps. I hope it helps you get through what you're going through right now, or it helps you relate to someone who is grieving that you may not understand. And if you'd like to book a session with me about your grief journey, your spiritual journey, you can do that on my website, wellnessoneness.com. Thank you.